I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I am Francisco Cerundolo, and you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is the final of the US Open. We have finally got there, and it wasn't with some highs, some lows, some correct predictions, some terrible predictions, but ultimately we have possibly the two best players on tour, and they're fighting it out for number one in the rankings as well. That's right. It is Mr. Five-setter himself, Carlos Alcaraz, in the final after a dramatic victory over Francis Tiafoe last night. You probably saw me with my head in my hands in disbelief that it was going to five again, struggling through the last remaining games, just willing Alcaraz to win. And he did so and in impressive fashion. And we have Casper Ruud, more comfortable in his route to this final. But there's part of me thinking Alcaraz is going to have everybody on his side in this final.
Well, I thought you had your head in your hands because you was exhausted more than anything.
Yeah,
We've had a long few days. We are coming to the end. 2 more matches left of the US Open. We'll be having the women's match later on tonight, so make sure to join us. Go check out the preview I did on that yesterday, I believe. And today we're going to be doing the men's preview. And as Ben said, Carlos Alcaraz, Casper Ruud. I don't agree with him saying that they're two of the best players this year. Alcaraz certainly. Casper Ruud, you could make a case because he got to a Roland Garros final. He's got to many other finals and potentially could be world number one. So
exactly
what you're saying is factually correct, but I just don't feel that Casper Ruud is a world number one candidate, despite the amount of points he's obviously picked up. But that's my thoughts. I'm open to listening to anyone else's opinions on that. Shout out to Ems, who's in the live chats, and I love both of these guys, and the fact that they're both going for the first slam and number one tomorrow is amazing.
Talking about us?
No, not us.
Okay.
Shout out to you, David, as well, saying, hello, people. Glad to see a more energized Ben here. Yeah, Ben's got some energy. I mean, I've completely collapsed myself. It was just terrible. Gary saying, looks like you got at least a little sleep. Battle for number one. Should be fun tomorrow, but hard to see how Carlos doesn't find a way to get it done. We're going to get into all the predictions. Me and Ben are energized. We had 5-6 hours sleep.
Yeah.
We played some tennis in the rain. Well, it wasn't raining the whole time.
No, a bit on and off.
On and off. That was good. We had some bagels for breakfast. Ben had some bagels later on as well.
I had more than one bagel today, that was for sure. The first one tasted a lot better than the others on court, I tell you. So.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about bagels. We might be later on because Eager's on. Make sure to join us. Nice little segue.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the men. And these two are the ones in question. Casper Ruud versus Carlos Alcaraz going for world number one. I think there's only one man to start with, and that's Carlos Alcaraz.
Oh, my word.
Let's just quickly reflect on yesterday's match with TFO, because for me, it delivered on every single level. I know we missed Alcaraz Sinner, and it was sort of dubbed as one of the greatest matches in history of the US Open. It was phenomenal. 2 youngsters going at it.
Yeah.
TFO, though, he is a youngster himself. He's 24 years old. And the fight and ability and technique, everything he showed yesterday, for me, is just as good as watching the Tsitsipas, Medvedevs, Zverevs, if not better. I mean, the shots he was able to pull off and the fight. He saved a match point in the 4th set. And despite how much it killed us because we was exhausted, it was great. In a way, I am glad he did do that because he showed he's here to stay. He's not going to roll over on the big occasion.
Yep.
He wasn't the favourite going into that match.
No.
He had the support of the crowd. He had Michelle Obama watching on, and he spoke about it in the press room afterwards, how that made him feel so nervous. He sort of said he looked over at 2-1 down first set, and he shanked one because he saw Michelle Obama. It made him very nervous. But on the whole, I thought we handled the nerves so well.
Very well.
And on another day, playing against most other players, I think he beats them.
Yeah, most definitely. I thought he played incredibly well to show the fight, the heart, to come back from facing match point and then take in the fourth set in such dramatic fashion in front of such imposing figures that he admires so much. When he saw her in the stands, Michelle Obama, he sort of couldn't believe it and sort of just gave her a nod, and she just gave him a nod back, apparently. And he was just thinking, oh my word, what's going on? So that probably inspired him a lot on court. And I just think his shot making ability, it's never really been like in question how talented TFO is. It's just his consistency level with it. And to see him, I said it many times last night, to see him put it all together in one whole tournament in a Grand Slam was just something to behold. I really hope that he continues with like this rags to riches story, and we get to see him deep in Grand Slams again in the coming years. I just think that he's so good for the sport. He's a real character. He brings so much energy and positivity to tennis. And I just really couldn't be happier for him that he's finally getting the recognition that he deserves.
Well, the big thing for me is in that third set, he completely crumbled. What was it, 6-1 or 6-2?
Yeah, 6-1. Yeah.
I think it was 6-2, was it not?
6-1.
Definitely 6-1, yeah. And he just, he was talking, it could have been a bagel at one point.
Yeah.
And he looked completely out of it. And we're saying, oh, we're going to get our prediction spot on. There's no way he's going to come back and do well in the fourth set. And he managed to win that one.
It was incredible.
Yet again, another tiebreak, the king of the tiebreaks, TFO.
8-0 in the US Open.
And that was, for me, the most special part of it. But let's just talk about Alcaraz's chances. I know we've got a few tweets, so let's go through some of them.
Yeah.
And we heard from him as well. So you can see here, nice one visual from the US Open, saying the first of many for 19-year-old Carlos Alcaraz. And I agree with that 100%. We're going to see him in this situation many times to come. The first Grand Slam final. Casper Ruud, of course, has been to a Grand Slam final before. But we're going to we're going to go through some of the tweets. I don't want to get too over the top, but everything he's doing is tracking the likes of a Bjorn Borg, a Rafael Nadal.
He's amazing.
The greatest, some of the best players ever. He's up there statistically with them and what he's doing at this young age.
I don't even think just looking at his age does it justice. I think looking at how he's doing it is if you look back through a Carlos Alcaraz highlight reel from the US Open this year, it'd probably be about 10 minutes or 15 minutes long. It's that exciting watching him play. He played every single match on Arthur Ashe in this tournament. They know he brings like the fire every single, and the fight. 3 5-set matches in a row he won. He brings drama. He brings excitement. Yes, he may have a few dips here along the way, but he's not playing schmucks on the court. No. He went to 5 sets 3 times with 3 incredible tennis players, and he came out in the 5th set each time looking like a man possessed, like he knew that he was going to win.
Yeah,
that's the difference. It's like we see it with the best players, like your Federers, like your Djokovic, like your Nadal. Like that is what they do. They come out in the 5th and they're like, "This is what I was built for: 5 sets of tennis, and I'm going to take it to you in the 5th." And he did it to TFO, and I felt like there was only one man winning.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we've got quite a few to get through. And this is from Carlos Alcaraz. He wrote on Twitter, "Never give up. See you on Sunday, New York City." And if you go down, we can see the image and what he had to say to TFO. It was extremely emotional from him. And he just didn't give up on any single point. Yeah, here we go. You can see it here. So saying, big respect for you, Francis. Congrats for the tournament. Of course, he had a lot of respect for him. We saw him in the match against Sinner signing autographs, and that was one of the latest matches in US Open history.
Incredible.
Approaching 3 a.m. Here, it was another late one, not as late, but still, just the fight he has. There's not many balls. Well, there were so many times when I was doing the commentary yesterday, and I was saying, "Oh, brilliant shot from TFO. No way he's getting there." Oh, and then he's there. Like, before you finish your sentence.
Behind him.
Like, you just see the ball going past Alcaraz, and before you know it, he's hitting the shot behind him, behind his back. I know he did that against Sinner. Yeah. There were situations today where he's dashing around, sliding around on the hard court.
Sliding so
just
good.
In terms of movement, I don't think I can recall someone who moves better on a tennis court than Carlos Alcaraz. You couple that with someone who will die for every single ball. He's played a ridiculous amount of hours. I mean, we're probably going to get onto it on the next one.
Well, let's get...
There's quite a few. You can see here, look, round 4, 5 sets, quarterfinal, 5 sets, semi-final, 5 sets. And the next one, you can see even more, which, look at this. Carlos Alcaraz, he spent 20 hours and 29 minutes on court to reach the US Open final. That is a record for the maximum time spent to make a Grand Slam final in the Open era. So not just the US Open. Is it a record across all of them?
Yeah.
That's what that tweet says. It's just bemusing. He's just played so much.
20 hours.
It's almost a day. He's almost spent an entire day on court. And this is what highlights it for me. He's played this amount of time on court, but yet in that 5th set, really, we both said we're going to favour TFO now on the 5th. Surely.
Yeah, well, I said it early in the match.
He's going to be the pressure fitter. He beat Rublev in straight, beat Nadal quite comfortably, but yet Carlos seems to have some stamina and energy bigger than anyone. Yeah. And a lot of that, I think, is his heart.
Desire. Yeah, it's total desire. He has like some innate ability within himself where I think there must be pain. There must be everyone has self-doubt. Everyone hits the wall. It's how you deal with that and you push past it. We've seen it from the likes of people like Rafa. We see it from the likes of the greats. They have adversity and they think, well, my hand is falling off. I'm still going to finish this match and I'm still going to not think about that pain until the match is over. And I feel that he does the same. He just keeps pushing. He keeps getting the crowd going and he's never defeated. At no point in any match is Carlos Alcaraz out of the match because you can see how he runs everything down. I don't understand how he keeps getting the ball back in play. It doesn't make sense in my mind. When I saw that rally that keeps getting repeated today, where it went behind him and he scampered back, got it back in play, and then the volley, he slides into the net somehow, gets him to play another one, and then it goes behind him again. He somehow sprints back and hits a winner past TFO. I'm like, that's not physically possible for a human being to do that. How is he doing it? I don't know. And Gene saying Carlos has bionic legs. I think that he might. Is he the closest thing? Is he a robot or an alien? I said it last night. I don't know. He might be both.
Yeah, Sam K here says Alcaraz never gets tired. Why? Very impressive. And as Paco says, only 19 years old. So crazy. He is doing what we need, though, for the new era of tennis. He makes me excited.
Very much so.
There's some tennis players, I don't want to give too many names away and be disrespectful here, but you're not that excited to watch them. Let's be honest. They're just a bit dull.
Say the name.
It's the same. No, it's just the same old, same old. I'm not here calling up tennis players because they're a lot better than what we'll ever be. But Carlos Alcaraz is an exciting brand of tennis, great human being, and he's only young and doing it with in the company of some great players. I think the next one talks about some of them. Alcaraz, do you like how I remember all them?
Well, yeah, you're good memory, better than mine. Yeah, that's for sure.
We've got Jose Morgado in here saying Alcaraz, the new Spanish #1, already confirmed to be, for now, the 4th youngest top 2 in history of the ATP Tour. And you can see here, Becker, 18 years, 9 months. Borg, 18 years, 10 months. Nadal, 19 year, 1 month. And Alcaraz, only 3 months behind Rafa there in 19 years, 4 months. With Safin, 20 years, 7 months. So not a bad 5 players to be in the company of. And he's just there behind Rafa. He's doing special things. And this is just for him to be in the top 2. I don't know what the stat is to be the top. Like if he was able to win this final against Casper Ruud, he's going to be. Yeah, we'll have to. I'm sure there'll be new tweets.
There will be
things to find out.
Stats coming.
Probably he's going to be right up there again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see where he's listed in like the youngest ever Grand Slam men's champions, that type of thing. Obviously, we know there are a lot younger, like people like Becker winning Wimbledon and stuff, but he was still going to be in an elite list if he manages to get it done. That's for sure. Being a teenager.
Yeah, for sure. there was one here I wanted to read. So M saying, I like Carlos's manner too. Think that makes him an even greater player. And Gary, they're saying, I agree with that. And Gary saying the big three could all scamper around the court back in the day. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It's not just Carlos Alcaraz
Yeah, exactly.
who's been able to do this. You've got to remember when Rafa was burst onto the scene, Djokovic as well. I mean, Djokovic's movement now is pretty incredible. But what's so amazing by it is that he seems to be following their footsteps, and he is someone who's capable of producing matches of tennis where you watch it and you think, wow, they play a different sport to everyone else on tour. And Alcaraz has the ability to do that. You can't say the same about a lot of other players.
No.
And a lot of these big servers, the serve bomb style players who rely on just the serve, I don't think necessarily their model of playing is a sustainable.
I don't even think
being at the top to win so many Grand Slam titles. Because if you have a bad day with a serving, which is possible, then what?
Well, I don't even think
you're useless.
I don't even think it puts bums on seats though either, and that's the thing. You don't become as popular playing that style of tennis.
No.
And the one thing that is great about this US Open that we have got to see from Alcaraz is he's had two young players, Yannick Sinner and Francis Tiafoe, like push him to become better. And that's what we need in the new breed of tennis. Players bouncing off each other. Tiafoe will have learned so much from this tournament. Yannick Sinner as well was match point against Alcaraz. Put that into perspective. If those three players add in maybe some other ones, if Musetti ups his level, he becomes like a real threat at Grand Slams eventually. There's so many potential matchups that could be very interesting. I would sign me up all day for another Alcaraz Sinner or Alcaraz Tiafoe. I'm telling you, those type of matches, they give me the vibes of the next sort of generation of big threes or big fours, or we need that little clique who keep pushing each other to the next level, because one player on their own, that it's not going to be that interesting if Alcaraz is just leaps and bounds above everyone. It's only going to be interesting if there's somebody making him get these.
He needs to be pushed on, and that's what will make him play better and better.
Exactly.
I think Sinner's a prime example.
Yep.
With Tiafoe, though, the jury's still out. He's had a great event.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to follow it up now?
I hope so.
That's what I'm waiting for. Can he follow it up? I've seen in the past he has a good event, and then he's terrible for the next 6 months. Let's be honest with it. He's not that consistent. And this is why a lot of people in the live chat were cheering for Francis yesterday, because they looked at him and thought this could be maybe the last opportunity that Tiafoe gets in a situation like this.
You never know.
You don't actually know. With Alcaraz, you kind of do know that he's going to be. I would be
this upward trajectory.
I mean, I'd eat my hat if he's not in a Grand Slam final again.
Yeah, I'd do more than that. I'd probably, I don't know, I'd eat a whole barrel of hats if he's not in a Grand Slam final again. It's a destiny for Carlos Alcaraz. I think that we can agree.
Sorry, let's read this one because we've not done it. So the 2022 US Open final will be a rematch of the Miami final between Alcaraz and Ruud. It will also decide the world number one. And the last time in a calendar year where the US Open men's final was the same as the Miami final was 2012.
Okay.
Andy Murray avenged Novak Djokovic in that one.
Oh, wow.
So it was quite interesting. I thought it was a good tweet to bring up.
Yeah.
So last time, as we know, Alcaraz beat Ruud at Miami. So does that mean we're going to see history repeating itself and Ruud defeating Alcaraz in this US Open final?
Oh, he does.
Is Ruud going to do an Andy Murray?
He does have some stuff on his side. The only thing that he doesn't have on his side is he's played only ever one Grand Slam final against another Spaniard, and he lost. Yep. But it was the greatest clay player of all time, and on clay at his favorite tournament.
Yep.
Alcaraz, I don't know. He's played a lot of tennis. I'm not ever going to question him ever again about how much tennis he can play. He'd probably play 50 hours and he'd be fine. So I'm not even going to say that. But the manner that Ruud's been winning, been more convincing. I'd say that is probably something that you need to take into account. I don't know. I'm not going to make predictions yet.
But let's go on to that. So get on to the next one, because if it's the correct one, it's great. So you're saying it's more convincing. This is working perfectly. They're all in order and everything. But this is maybe why they've been more convincing, Ben. Casper Ruud, this is his route to the Grand Slam final here.
Nice.
Round 1, he played 601. Round 2, 117. Round 3, 34. Round 4, 112. Quarterfinal, number 14. And semi-final, 31. So Casper Ruud, he's not played anyone.
No one in the top
He's not
10.
played. He's only played one player inside the top 30 to get to a Grand Slam final.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't happen often, does it?
That's insane. That is truly insane. I mean, the average of the player he's played, I don't know if it says lower down.
I think the 600 is going to, like...
The 600 is a bit of a...
It's going to be like 300 in the world. Right.
Let's keep going down. I don't know if it says... Should we keep going down to the bottom?
All right.
Yeah, so both are into a Grand Slam final and not having to face any player in the top 10. Yeah, I don't want to highlight that. Let's just focus on the fact that Alcaraz has played a lot better opponents, and Casper Ruud, if you go up a little bit, hasn't played anyone great. I mean, I don't know the average of them numbers, but probably about 100.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously you see the numbers there. Alcaraz hasn't played anybody outside the top 100, so
yeah,
he's
done a tougher route. So he's more warm coming into this one than a Casper Ruud.
Yeah, I mean, just based upon the level of the tennis, I haven't really seen a whole highlight reel of Ruud's matches coming around Twitter or anything. But Alcaraz seems to be setting the world on fire, and everybody can't stop talking about Carlos Alcaraz, and he is the odds-on favorite for the final, which like a 1.47.
Oh, interesting. We've got Liam asking who are the opponents, though, for Casper Ruud?
Well,
and let's go through his route now.
That's it. That's what I was just bringing up. So we had, in the first round, we had it was Kyle Edmund. I don't know if we can class
that's the 600.
Yeah,
that's the outlier.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I mean, Kyle Edmund just coming back from a long term.
No, it's an easy match. Let's be honest. Easy match. Van Rijthoven, I think that's a tougher one. His rankings lower than what he should be. Tommy Paul, hit and miss, not convinced. Mutet, I think that's a winnable one. Berrettini, good player, but not in the best of form. And Khachanov, it's not a bad route at all. So Casper Ruud ultimately is taking advantage of the fact that he's
the only one, really, and he didn't turn up.
No, yeah, and it was straight sets as well. So I'm not dismissing anything Casper Ruud's done, but it is important to have a look at his route. Yeah. Moving on to the next one.
Just to confirm who Alcaraz had as well, just so that we can just be in the
fair enough.
In the eyes of fairness. We had Sebastian Baez, we had Federico Coria, just having all Argentinians to start his tournament, and then he had Brooksby. That you think it would be tougher in America, but he did straight sets, so he didn't drop a set for the first 3 rounds. Then he thought, well, this is boring not dropping sets, isn't it? I'm going to go on 5 sets for the next 3 rounds. So, yeah, then we obviously know the next one's Cilic, Sinner, and TFO. So, obviously playing a Grand Slam champion in Cilic from 2014 at the US Open as well. So, we know how good Cilic is. Anyway, on to the next tweet. Yeah,
this is an interesting one because, as you all know, this is not just a Grand Slam title at stake. It's also world #1 status. So I thought it would be interesting just to see the points distribution of Ruud and Alcaraz, because they've both got the opportunity to become world #1, and both in very different ways they've been able to gain their points. You can see here the Norwegian Casper Ruud first. He's got 41% of his points from Grand Slams, 29% from Masters, 17%. This is the big one from ATP 250s.
That's a big chunk.
And considering you don't get many points from 250s, he has been really cleaning up,
racking them up.
He's got the nickname, the ATP 50 King. He's a bit of a merchant, picking up the points there, but fair enough. He got quite a few from the ATP finals, which he didn't really do anything in, but you gain so many points. Same with the ATP Cup at the bottom. I mean, them combined, you're looking at 9% of his overall.
Yeah.
And I think all he had to do was turn up and lose. ATP 500, 3%, and that totals 5,850. If we go down and look at Alcaraz's, the difference is 44% with Masters, so a lot on the Masters front. Quite a few on the ATP 500, so 24.9%. Slams, 27. Hardly any from ATP 250, and nothing from ATP Cup, nothing from ATP Final. So it seems that Alcaraz has gained a lot more points towards the
better body of work.
He's got a better body of work behind the points for sure. There's obviously a lot of Masters. Almost 50% have been in Masters. He's really flourished in the Masters events. Not so many slams as Ruud, but of course Ruud did get to the final of Roland Garros, so that's really helped him out. and a lot in the ATP 500s. And as we know, some of them ATP 500 draws have been a bit like Grand Slams recently. They've been tough.
Yeah, I mean, you think about some of the matches that he's had this year as well. I don't even have to list them all. We know that he has come up against and he's defeated Djokovic and people like that when Djokovic was looking like somebody that you probably couldn't beat. Like that match was so close. Remember it when we were in Zagreb.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible one. It was like that was sort of like I wouldn't say changing of the guard, but like arriving on the scene.
Yeah.
More like we knew he was good, but that when you take out or start challenging Nadal and Djokovic like he has this year, then we really have to sit up and take notice of Alcaraz. He's done a great job.
Yeah, looking at the next one here, Gil Groves, friend of the podcast, just speaking a little bit about Ruud. So we've got some Ruud tweets coming up, and his last opponent in the semi-final, we had Alcaraz play TFO and Ruud played Khachanov. The surprise package, let's be honest, we wasn't anticipating Khachanov to get this far. Could have even made a Grand Slam final, which is insane.
It's nuts,
he beat Kyrgios. And this is something that really is interesting because Ruud, as we know, is a very, very good server. We've often joked calling him a bit of a serve bot, but he's only 6 foot tall, which in tennis terms is probably smaller than average, it seems, or the average height.
Yeah,
Khachanov, 6'6", and Ruud averaged quick on the first serve speed at a very healthy 118 mile an hour.
Impressive.
He's really become one of the best pound for pound servers out there.
That's nuts. That
so a bit of boxing terminology in terms of a pound for pound server. Ruud being a 6 foot tall guy, averaging 118 is pretty good. But I would probably say TFO, pound for pound. Maybe he's better because I don't know how tall TFO is.
I would probably go with about 6 foot as well.
But I would say he's pretty similar.
Yeah, I don't think he's any taller than. It might even be like 5'10". Let's click on the side.
Yeah, but it's 188. I don't know what that is.
If you click in his thing, his Wikipedia, it'll go to there you go. It's there. Just click in that, it'll give you it in the 6'2".
6'2". So he is a bit taller. Fair enough.
Okay, I thought he was.
So maybe Ruud is because he's 6 foot. Then it even feels like TFO is smaller, doesn't it? I think they're all so tall.
It's quite. I think it's because his width. TFO, he's so like stacked with muscle. It looks like he's shorter than he is because maybe he just doesn't have a neck because he's got so much muscle there. I don't know. He just seems overly muscular for a tennis player like Francis TFO, but seemed to work for him this tournament, didn't it? But...
Yeah. Looking at the next one, we've got Luigi Gatto clipping from the press room. And this is Ruud speaking about after Roland Garros. He said, I was extremely happy, but at the same time, humble enough to think that could be my only Grand Slam final in my career. Casper Ruud is a very nice man on tour. We know there was a few issues with him and Holger Rune not too long ago in the dressing room. And Holger Rune saying all these things about Ruud, shouting in his face. I don't really buy much of it because Ruud does come across as one of the good guys in tennis. He is a great tennis player. I know some people in the live chat often think I'm not a big fan of him, but probably some of the comments I've made today. It's not that I'm a big fan of him. I really am obsessed a little bit with Alcaraz at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's
just something about his style of playing, the way he's playing. It's difficult not to get
You're drawn in.
You
are, though.
I'm massively drawn in, and that's the truth of it. With Casper Ruud, Ben would tell you, I've always been a big fan, especially for the fact that he come from the Rafael Nadal Academy. And I like the fact that he is a very humble guy as well. I did send him a tweet about a few months ago and he replied to me, which was nice. So Casper Ruud,
very nice.
He's not stupid. Getting to a Grand Slam final is one of the toughest things to do in sport. And
really
there's no God-given right that if you're a top 10 player that you'll ever reach there. I was going to say top 100, but top 10.
Top 10, no.
You can be a top 10 for the rest of your career and never make a Grand Slam final. Easily. He's already made one this year. Now he's doing another one. He's got to take...
Not me.
He's got to take... No, not him. Casper Ruud.
Not me.
And now he's going to have to take one of these opportunities because he doesn't know when the next one's going to come. However, I do think, like I said with Alcaraz, we are going to see Ruud in another Grand Slam final after this one.
Quite possible.
Because his game is just very consistent and he can play on all the surfaces. The only problem with him is the grass at the moment.
I feel like Roland Garros, like if Rafa decides to retire, God forbid, ever, and that seems like the natural progression is he will look to try and take that Roland Garros title at some point. And I'll put it out there. I think Ruud will win Roland Garros at least once.
Yeah, we've got Liam in saying, just quoting you there, saying, I love TFO's width. Sus.
I didn't say girth. I said width.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on to see what else you've got in the chamber. I think this is just one from you for you, isn't it?
Yeah, just one for me. I thought this one was a little bit fun. Obviously, we know Rafa is a bit OCD on court, don't we? And we know he likes to line up his water bottles and all of that malarkey. But this one, I just thought, this is Carlos Alcaraz. Everyone says, oh, look, they're the same. Look, he's following in Rafa's footsteps. Well, apparently, if Nadal saw this, he'd have a panic attack. And this is Carlos Alcaraz's rackets and all of his clothes, trainers, everywhere. I mean, it couldn't be any more different, could it, between the two? So if you want to be dispelled that they're the same type of player, they're clearly not, are they? I mean, he's got other things on his mind than lining up stuff, and what he just grab the racket, get on the court, play the tennis, and entertain.
The one thing which I do love about Alcaraz more than Rafa is this, actually, which is going to surprise you.
Messi.
No, not that. I don't mind all of that with Rafa. I think it's quite endearing.
That's his thing, isn't it?
It's just very personal to him. The one thing which has always grated on me a little bit over the years is if you watch a Rafa match, there's a lot of the time you're not watching any tennis. Because for me, it just does take quite a long time for him to serve each time. It does the whole clock down. It's great, and I love it. It's interesting, but there's certain times where a match would be 5 hours rather than 4 hours, and you're seeing the same amount of tennis as what you would see a 4-hour Carlos Alcaraz match is a 5-hour Rafa one, it seems. And the difference is you get to just see a little bit more tennis because Alcaraz serves quickly, gets it going. We're watching the sport a little bit more. And I've probably never spoke about that with Rafa. One of my only, not downsides, because still I would rather watch Rafa than any other player ever. Yeah. I don't think anyone can ever take that away from me. But It is nice to see a young Spaniard take a lot less time than what Rafa and Nadal does. So that's just my thought on it all.
Well, I think it is refreshing. We've got some people saying apparently that's TFO's side. Apologies. They're wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, I thought it was TFO's side as well.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe I got that wrong then. Yeah. Apologies. But anyway, I like what you're saying, though, about Rafa and the Alcaraz comparison, the fact that he doesn't take the same amount of time, because I think that's what tennis needs. He really does. Yeah. It does need to be sped up. That's what everyone's been calling for in the game, it takes too long, tennis, some people say. Alcaraz's 5-hour match didn't take long because he was just like standing there waiting for 30 seconds to serve every time. It took long because it's just an incredible match, and you get more tennis in that 5-hour match. You don't get all the stop start and all of this type of thing. So, and you don't get the how do I put this without being like
what
rude?
Should you say?
Yeah, like you don't get
rude.
Yeah, you don't get like all of the controversy around people saying, "Oh well, if he'd have just played normal speed." Well, Alcaraz does play normal speed. He just plays as fast as he can, and he just will still get the victory. So you can't take it away from him. There's not going to be as many contentious moments, I feel, in a Carlos Alcaraz match where people are nitpicking on all the little things that he does on the court. I think people just love watching him play tennis, and I think it's so refreshing for tennis. Is it predictions time? Yeah.
Yes, I was waiting for you to shut up, but you finished. And it is prediction time. We've got the image of the two finalists battling out for world number one. Who's going to win their first Grand Slam? Who's going to be world number one at the same time? It's going to be a very sad day for one of them and a very happy day for the other. But I'm just hoping, before we get into the predictions, whoever is to lose this match, they're not too hard on themselves.
No.
Because it is a big... The problem is, one of them being offered everything, and the other's going to just be very sad because they're not going to have world number one. They're not going to have... It seems to be the prize is too extreme. It'd be nice if the prize wasn't as big as this, but it does make it very exciting for sure.
Very much so.
Let's get into the prediction. Over to you first, Ben. But before you come up with it, I just want to bring up the head-to-head quickly between the two. So they played in Marbella 2021. Alcaraz won straight sets against Ruud. They then played in Miami, like we spoke about in the final.
Yeah.
Alcaraz won that straight sets. And they played recently in Hurlingham, which I believe is an exhibition on the grass. And this was a strange one. Casper Ruud won straight sets, but
that was a weird one.
Really, I classify it as a 2-love record to Alcaraz in the head-to-head without dropping a set. And Miami, the score was 7-5, 6-4. And I don't have the clay one up.
I don't think you can look too much.
Clay was 6-2, 6-4, 1 hour 20. We covered both, though.
You got to bear in mind that with all of those, the grass one, I'm not even taking into account at all. The other two
exhibition.
Yeah, the other two surfaces are very slow surfaces as well. We got to take that into account. But Alcaraz yet to drop a set in a competitive environment, and I think he is going to drop a set in this one. I feel that Casper Ruud, like we've just been through, his serving is very good. I think Casper Ruud will take a tiebreak set in this final. But ultimately, I don't even think Alcaraz is going to go to 5 this time. I think that will be all for Ruud, and Alcaraz will power him off the court. There'll be a close set. It'll be like a 6-4. Then it will go like 6-3, 6-2, something like that. 4-3-2.
So to clarify, Alcaraz in 4.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben's gone for Alcaraz in 4. I was tempted to do the same, but seeing as every time we've gone for the same prediction, it's never happened and ruined everything, I will be going for something else. And that may surprise some of you. It's going to be a Carlos Alcaraz straight set victory. I think he gets it done a lot quicker than the last 3 matches, that's for sure. No 5 sets anymore for Alcaraz. He's not going to reach over 24 hours at the US Open in total this year. And instead, I think we're going to see a really fast first set from him, so a 6-2. We're going to see a tie-break second set, and then a 6-4 third set. So that is the prediction. I've even given you my scores and the way I see it going. Alcaraz is going to come out really fast. I watched his post-match interview on the call, and just the way he was talking with confidence and how he wants to enjoy it more than anything. He's ready for the occasion. He wants to enjoy it. He had a lot of respect for Ruud. He's not going to underrate him on the call. He's not going to take this easy or lightly. Just listen, he's a model professional. I do love him. I'm growing into quite a big mega fan for Alcaraz, as you can tell. And I just feel that we're going to see some competitive sets after the first, but Alcaraz is going to ultimately win this one in straights.
Wow. And somebody big that we should probably give a shout out to, who sort of had a bit of a prediction, didn't he, coming into the tournament? Nick Kyrgios. He said Alcaraz will win the US Open this year.
Yeah.
So he sort of knows what he's talking about this year. When it comes to tennis as well, he's switched on to the game. Is Nick Kyrgios, despite not even getting there himself, still going to come out smelling the roses, having predicted the winner?
Well, he's focusing now on the slams, and I think Kyrgios is a really good shot for the Australian Open next year.
Yeah, massively.
Don't rule him out.
Come
That's what
on.
I'm saying. He's hungry and ready to go.
I'm excited for
but
that.
I do agree with him. I think Alcaraz is going to win and be world number 1, and it can go to a nicer guy. We've got Gary in who agrees, saying 3 sets for Carlos, but more competitive than Ben's prediction. What else we got here? We've got an Alcapop 3-1.
Alcapop.
Sydney going,
Like
Carlitos wins tomorrow for the number 1. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up there. We've spoken about this match. Make sure to join us for the women's final, which we will be covering tonight on the channel. It's going to be in about 2.5 hours' time, so you don't want to miss it. And of course, we will be doing the men's final, which we've just done the preview for.
Word.
So let's see how right or wrong we are. And I can't wait. Thank you so much for all of the new fans and subscribers we've gained at this US Open. Great to have so many new faces on board. I know we've hit 45,000 recently, which I don't believe we have on there. But thanks, everyone, anyway. And maybe we can get closer to the 50K very soon. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys later on.
Yeah, will do. Now time for me to journey home. We're going to be separated for these finals.
Yep. I'm relieved. Get rid of you.
Right. See you soon.